Welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to talk about something which isn't really that nice in terms of how it feels, but I think it's really important to talk about it again. So I'm going to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, which I think some of you who are listening would have, and also you might have friends or family who have it. I was really interested in it because obviously it's something that people suffer from and they have a lot of trouble getting rid of it. But I believe you can actually get rid of it by doing energy work. Sometimes I've felt with some people that they want to hold on to it, like they don't want to get better, they have like victim mentality. And I actually sent healing to some people, cleared it from the aura, and gone back a day later and it's back. So there's a sort of a personality type who want to hang on to it, and that's okay if they need to still have it. However, if you're a person or you know people who actually want to get better, you might want to share this with them or do this practice yourself. Post-traumatic stress is a trauma that we have after an event. So it's after an event. And I think it can be very soon after, like within a very short time. At the event, you go into this kind of lockdown and then you just have it. A lot of people don't know they have it because they think they have to go to a war or be in a fire or be held up in a bank to have it, but I don't actually believe that. I think you can get it from just everyday life. You can get it from when you lose someone you love and they die, particularly if they die a fairly horrible death, very traumatic death. You can get it from a traumatic marriage and or partnership that goes bad. And one of the things that you mostly get it from is abuse. If you've been in abusive situations, that will create trauma in the aura, and you can actually have post-traumatic stress from that. Now, that can be from your childhood, from when you're an adult, or even an older person, you can still actually have it. And I feel like collects in layers. So if you have a person who's had child abuse, you can then have a layer of it. And then you marry someone who's abusive, and then you get into abusive situations with other people. And it just layers, so it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes more and more problematic. Why I'm doing this particular podcast, because I've done several on PTSD, is because it's situated in the astral body. And if you're a spiritual person, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There are layers that go out from the physical body right out to the edge of where our little egg ends, our energetic egg that we live in. And one of them is the astral layer. And this is a crossover between the higher and the lower vibrations in the body as well. And the astral layer usually sits around, it's got a connection with the heart chakra. The astral layer is where we actually store trauma, and it'll often be where we store abuse. And whenever I've worked on anyone who's been abused, there'll often, not always, but there will often be a block like in the astral body. So I go there and the astral body isn't working. It's like a block there. And I was told that by a homeopath when I was like 42 years old after my accident. I went to this homeopath who had a few other skills. And he actually said to me, "Oh, you've got a block in your astral body." And at the time, I didn't know what he was talking about. But as I dealt with my stuff, I realised that it was from the abuse. And that block in the astral body can be the post-traumatic stress block. It's from the trauma. And you sort of shut down. Because when the body goes into trauma, the first thing it does is protect itself and goes into shutdown, and it just puts it somewhere and it locks it down, never to go there again. And then you land up with this myriad of problems. The way to fix it is to realise that you might actually have PTSD undiagnosed. So I'd go onto the internet and look up all the symptoms, and you'll just go, yes, 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 yes. Then the next thing is how to release it. And we're talking energy here. A lot of people are going the main route, and you can do that as well, which is pharmaceuticals and different techniques that are out there. I just feel that this is really powerful energetically to do as an adjunct to what you're going to do, or just to do this. So, for example, with me, I checked it and I had so much PTSD in my astral body. It was like, I looked with my pendulum, I checked with my kinesiology, and was like, whoa. So what I did was I did the work there. So I released it from my astral body, and then I did the tapping to release it, and then I did a meditation to release it. And I just kept on releasing it from the astral body, from the astral body, from the astral body. Mine was like a build-up of decades of abuse. I actually found a way to deal with the abuse, and that was to put it all in the astral body. However, when you do that, it complicates your health and compromises your health too, especially energetically and then eventually physically. Go to your astral body. If you can check for yourself, use your pendulum, use your kinesiology, do self-kinesiology. You can check out how to do that on the net. I might do it myself now because my partner's done. And you can do it yourself like that. And you can also do it with the first finger and the thumb. So, and check. And you can just, I usually do 1 to 10 as my guide, and I ask how much I've got. And I keep asking till I get to the number. And then it's like, yes, okay, I've got 9 or I've got 8 or whatever. Then you do the tapping, you do the release work, and then you can come back and use the kinesiology again to ask, or your pendulum. While it's releasing, you won't feel any better. I don't feel like I've just done a big session. I didn't feel that much better, but I got in my head that would take like 4 or 5 days to shift out, and I was checking and it's still releasing. And then I'm hoping that by releasing it from my aura, that I will actually finally be able to release all the effects from what trauma I've had in my life. And that's why I'm talking to you, because any kind of trauma that you've had, and especially if you've had traumatic events happen, a loss, as I said earlier, of particularly a traumatic death for you, traumatic loss of work, a traumatic injury that you've had. It can be all these things. It doesn't have to be what they say that are the usual ones. Trauma comes in all different ways and in all different patterns. You can be traumatized by having your little 6-week-old baby in intensive care, and you're worried they're going to die. And then after that, you can get post-traumatic stress from that. It's whatever is trauma to you. And I feel the people who are listening to these podcasts are very sensitive people, like you're highly sensitized. The trauma is really going to hit you, and it's really going to bang in your aura and make a big noise because you've got such a sensitive aura. It's very good to get rid of this. Any kind of trauma in the body is not good for the body or the aura, and it will actually make you feel pretty bad. And it's known that PTSD can actually make you feel depressed and give you anxiety. You can have trouble sleeping. You'll find yourself on the list. I found myself on the list really easily. And I'd actually done work earlier on it and thought that I'd got rid of it, but the places I was going to work on it obviously wasn't where it really was. For me, I stored it in the astral body, and that's why I wanted to do this particular podcast, because I suspect that most people actually store it there and then in other places, but I think this is a major storage place. After I did the release, I just kept doing it, and kept tapping every day and releasing it with that intention. And I filled up my astral body, like that layer. I filled that up with gold light, white light. I filled it up with pink light for love. I filled it up with love, because anything that's traumatizing to the body will be healed, hopefully more with love. And I kept just sending healing to my astral body. For me, it all made perfect sense. And I think if you're listening to this, it might make perfect sense to you. And the astral body is often a place where the doctors can't find what's wrong with you, because you don't always manifest on a physical level, especially initially. And then they can't work out why you're having all these symptoms, because they can't find it in the body. But it's because it's in the astral layer. Some people think it's the 4th one out. I'm not sure about the number system. I'm just more interested that there are layers out there. Try and do it. I feel you'll get a feeling around it, especially once you look at the symptoms. And you might actually already know you have it. Like you might just know you've got it, or a form of it. They say that it goes away. When you read a lot of things, after a few months you'll feel better and stop having the flashbacks and the nightmares, and you can sleep better and whatever. But I found that if it's very traumatic, it locks so strongly in the body, like so strongly in the aura and so strongly in the astral body, that it can be there for decades. When that homeopath told me at 42 that I had it, that meant I'd had it, because mine started at 4, so I'd had it like for that many years, like 38 years? Yeah, I think I got that right. So I had it for 38 years, walking around with it, with my astral body, and I've just spent my life clearing. You can also do some work on the emotions if you want to. The fear and terror will be your major ones. Do some tapping on fear and terror, because that's the trauma. Because you'll feel really frightened, a paralysing fear, a terrifying fear, and you'll know you've still got it because you have certain irrational fears about doctors, dentists, driving the car, claustrophobia sometimes, because if you were abused and locked in cupboards and things like that. So the thing is that you will have this, and you can actually look at your life and start saying, oh, that's from that, and that's from that, and that's from that, and you'll see it's come from there. So I'm wishing you good luck. PTSD is really hard to live with. I don't really talk about it to other people, even though I know that it's been something that I've been chipping away at, and I'm hoping that for you and I, we can really get rid of it now. We always need to be mindful, that we've had the damage, but I feel that if you clear the aura, you can actually clear your life. You change the aura, you change your life. Giving you this podcast, if you have a friend who's got PTSD, you might want to send them healing. You could do some healing on them. You might want to clear their astral body for them. You might send healing to their astral body. And if they want to get better, your healing or your good thoughts on that will release it. However, do be aware that some people are so used to it's like carrying a big bag of whatever with them, and once it goes, they have to put it back. There's something there that they won't let it go until they're ready, and maybe not even this life. People won't let it go this life, and that's okay. You just send it and then people decide whether they want to use it or not. However, I feel if you're going to do the work on yourself, you will probably release it because you have that intention to get better. So this is a little bit of a sad and, I don't know, not very nice podcast, but it has good results because it's an intrusive 24-hour-a-day thing to have, and there seems to be like no cure out there, but I feel that energetically there is, and that's why I've done this. So I think energetically, if we get rid of it, that downloads into the aura and that downloads into your body, and eventually you can be free of it and not suffer from all those things that PTSD give us. So I'm sending you lots and lots of love this week, and good luck with it. And you can always send me a message in a month or two if you do it, and see if you noticed any difference. I really appreciate that. So talk to you soon.